What is ROI? Let's talk about ROI and equipment. Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Tobias Monk from Lit Video Productions. We make epic videos for epic companies. And today on my vlog, I want to talk about ROI. And as a business owner or anybody who does any kind of business, you kind of really need to understand the basics of ROI. And the more you start to understand the basics, the more advanced you can start getting and really start to understand it. Okay, so return on investment. And now this is a return on investment as far as equipment. There's a return on investment for like investors. So if you want to make investments in different stuff and you figure out if it's worth it and all that kind of thing. Once again, what we're going to talk about today is more equipment based, because as a video production company or as somebody that creates video content or anything like that, more than likely you're going to constantly be buying gear and your gear is going to be upgraded constantly, and you got to figure out, is this worth me investing to, in it. So let's just talk about the definition. I'm going to use my title here. Return on investment is an indicator of the profits the business will earn from its investment and is calculated by dividing the net income generated by the equipment by the cost of the investment. The resulting number expressed as a percentage can be a good indicator of whether the investment is worth making. I know, it sounds wordy and it's back and forth, and there's different ROI calculators, and they get even more confusing, where you have like the net return of investment over the cost of investment times 100 to 100%, or the final value of investment minus the initial value over the cost of investment times 100. What? It just doesn't, it starts getting so complicated. By the way, let me just say, I'm not an accountant. You need to talk with an accountant. Once you talk with an accountant and you start putting all your numbers in, you're really going to be able to start figuring these numbers truly and get a really good gauge of what's a great investment for you. I kind of struggle trying to figure out ROI, so I simplify everything just to kind of at least give me an idea. So with ROI, return on investment, there's also your payback period. So that needs to be included. How long is it going to take you to pay off that piece of equipment? And use of life. So how long is that piece of gear going to be relevant? Is it something that you're going to keep using? For example, I have a C100 that I bought a couple years ago. This camera came out in 2015. It's 2019 now as I'm shooting this. So that camera's 4 years old already. I've had it for 2 years. It shoots HD, it doesn't shoot 60p. There's a lot of factors. People say, oh, well, the camera's already on its way out, and they sell pretty low. But I will say this, well, let's see, I can still use this camera for shooting a podcast. I can use it for any online content, for streaming, people that just need HD content. It's a perfect camera. So I can continue to keep using it and I have no problems. I could foresee keeping this cinema body, eventually making its way into a podcast studio or something where it kind of just permanently lives and becomes a permanent fixture of that studio. So this equipment will continue to generate more money for me, even though I'm invested on some other stuff and I'm shooting 4K or anything like that. So just as an example, I can see this C100 lasting at least maybe 4 more years, 5 more years. So that camera's life, you're looking at probably 10 or 11 years out of a piece of technology. I think that's really, really, really good. Now the lights that I'm using, the bar flies, I don't know exactly when they came out. This particular series was discontinued November of 2011, all right? So this light was discontinued 8 years ago. I'm still using them. I spent $700 on 4 of these bad boys 3 years ago, and I can't even tell you how many gigs I've used them on, how much revenue I've managed to bring in just by owning this piece of gear for initial investment that I cost. So that's 700 divided by 4, 350. It's $175 per instrument. I got my return on investment easily. So let's go back to return on investment. Let's talk about the XC10 and my return on investment that I got with this, and I'm still continuing to get. So there's the return on investment with, I spent about $1,200 on this, somewhere around there. Off the top of my head, I can't really think. This camera shoots 4K, it shoots HD. It's becoming my main workhorse camera. I've used it actually a lot because it's so small, it's so quick. I can do it on smaller gigs where I'm making anywhere from $500 to $1,500 with this little guy. $2,500 if I'm doing like a bigger project, $5,000, whatever it is. The numbers keep going up. Obviously there's editing involved in different things, but out the gate, this is a second camera. It works great. I've used it where I can now have a 2-camera package where I've got the C100 and I've got this camera. The quality is fantastic out of both of them. So now I can charge for 2 pieces of gear when I show up on set. I'm not just showing up with 1, I'm showing up with 2, and I can get really nice, really close stuff. They can both shoot wide dynamic, they can both shoot the C-Log. I'm always burping in these so much. Always shoot C-Log, so this camera still has a long life out of it. I'm not done with it, and I think my ROI within 1 year is gonna just keep going up. I can see this camera making me a decent chunk more money. Actually, I did a few other gigs with it, didn't I? There's so many gigs that I'm using this thing on that I can't even remember, because there's some of them are just little one-offs, and I don't mind, or I've actually sent this camera out with people to go shoot stuff for my company. So it's really, that's been a great ROI. Now I'm talking about upgrading some other gear. And I'm running these numbers, and I think I need to talk with my accountant. But for someone who's just starting out, you're a small business. I'm still a small business. I have no problem admitting that I'm a very small business. You know, we're still making under 6 figures. So be it. But we're gonna get up to 6 figures, and then we're gonna get past that, you know, up to that 7-figure mark. So we get to the $1 million mark. Now you're a small business that actually has some good capital to play with every year. There's still a lot of overhead at that $1 million level, but I mean, such is doing business. It's going to take me some time to get there. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't expect my company to be built in a day, or any other ventures I start to get into beyond this. If you are a small production company, or just a single person doing everything by yourself, you're a videographer that you got a camera, you've got a little light kit, you've got audio kit, and you can edit. You right there. Let's just start at that core. Use that. Figure out your ROI with your core equipment, how much money you can make with it, how much more money you make with it, and then as you start to do your upgrades along the way, you'll start figuring out ROI a lot better, especially working with an accountant. You're gonna get a better sense of truly what your ROI is and what you need to grow, how much work you need to do. You know, when you start spending $10,000 on a piece of equipment, you need to make sure that you're going to see an ROI within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, is it really worth spending that money? So what are your thoughts on ROI? When you buy a piece of gear, what are some of the things that go through your head? Do you do any calculations, or you just kind of think, hey, this is a $2,000 camera. I know I can do $2,000 of work in a month, so I can flip it. Does it go that far, or you really start getting into it where you start laying down numbers? Because as a serious business owner, you're gonna have to start really getting into the numbers. You can't just be as big. It's a headache. All right, everybody have a fantastic day. My name's Tobias Muggs from Lit Video Productions. We make epic videos for epic companies. Peace. Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Tobias Muggs from... Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's go back to, so, for example, I have a C100 that I bought. For example, I have a C100 that I bought. Oops. For example. All right, so I hope if